Yes, it's Eric Previn. And this issue of electronic monitoring is, of course, critically important. And I'm pleased to see that the board is finally taking an interest here as Supervisor Molina is virtually termed out. I appreciate her coming up with some money to incentivize some young minds on this project. But I do not appreciate the constant repetition that there are horrible crimes committed by individuals with electronic monitoring, not because it may not be true, but it is not reflective of the reality. And I think we need to dispel the notion that this is a bad idea. This is a good idea. What's a bad idea is, as I think this board seems to be gravitating toward, wondering who's in charge, which is, of course, this board, the idea that we need to be doing business with people who are upfront, direct, and are providing the services that we've contracted for. We've known for a very long time. I mean, Supervisor Molina has said in repetition for years, what are we doing with it? How come we're not? And I would recommend the following. Going forward, rather than a 90-day report back where Mr. Powers sheepishly and with some pride, frankly, owns up to the fact that this has not gone well, I don't feel that's helpful. I think what we need is a monthly report that shows how many people we're putting out onto this new functional system. How many people, just like when we were enrolling people in Healthy LA, that we had a number, and Dr. Katz would bring that number forward, and we would be able to track it on something called a dashboard. That is what the public would like to see happening, especially in the context that we are now facing, which is this board's absurd approval of 2 billion jail plans. We need to be looking at ways to divert people from jail, not just mentally ill, which is of course critically important, but people who are not dangerous. And people who are not dangerous do not commit egregious crimes on electronic monitoring. People who are dangerous do, and those people obviously we try to avoid putting on this service, Mr. Supervisor Antonovich. So I would ask this board once again to reflect upon its own role here, because though it is nice to be cordial with our leaders, we need to solve these problems once and for all. So I would ask Supervisor Molina to come forward with that money, and let's get it going. Thank you.
Mr. Sachs.